What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks and predictions video. Back in Vegas here, back in the Apex for UFC Fight Night. Brendan Allen versus Chris Curtis 2. And we're going to dive into this entire card. We're going to run down the matchup, starting with the prelims all the way to the main event. Let's get right into it. If you're new to the channel, smash that like button and subscribe. We host live fight companions every single weekend. We're posting throughout the week a ton of content. And yeah, make sure to subscribe and like so you never miss a live stream, so you never miss an upload. And speaking of live streams, we will be streaming a good chunk of the PFL card later tonight. Right after this prediction video, I actually have to go and jump on as a guest on a hockey program, and then I'll be right back to cover PFL, probably an hour into the event. But let's start with the first prelim here. We have Melissa Tanya Mullins against Nora Cornole. Melissa 6-0 as a pro out of England against Nora, who's 7-1 out of France. She is 34 years of age. 1-0 in the UFC, 3-0 in UAE Warriors. On a pretty good win streak right now. Only lost one fight. She beat Jocelyn Edwards, who absolutely sucks. Beat a 4-2 gal, a girl making her debut. And yeah, looking at her opponent, Melissa Tanya Mullins, 6-0 as a pro. So obviously on a damn good win streak as well. 3 KO TKOs, 3 decisions. She's a few years younger than her opponent at 32 years of age. 3 KO TKOs, 3 decisions. 1-0 in the UFC, 3-0 in Golden Ticket Fight Promotions Limited. God damn, that is a mouthful. She beat a 5-1 gal in her UFC debut. Before then, she beat a 7-0 gal, 6-4, 3-1 when she was 2-0. Fought twice in Eris and in a freaking Golden Ticket. I'm not even going to say the whole thing again. She also fought on the amateur scene where she only went 5-4. I am going to go with the favorite in this one, who's minus 330. I'm going with Melissa Mullins. Better competition, more experience with her amateur fights. A few more notable training partners as well, and coaches and Lions Gym versus, what was it, Nora's gym at Free Fight. So that's why I forgot it. I don't even know where the hell that gym is. Both have good records, so it's a good matchup on paper. I understand why the UFC is doing this, but yeah, Melissa Mullins, so much more experience, and the fighters that she fought in Eris were just so much better than Nora's recent competition. All right, next we have Dylan Budka against Cesar Almeida. And what's up, everybody in the live chat here? I see Roman. I see Hockey. I see Jesus. What's going on, guys? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Excited for some PFL here tonight. Can't say I'm excited for the PFL, but I am excited for MMA on a Thursday to open up this weekend. So there you go. There you go. Dylan Budka against Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida, former kickboxer, former glory kickboxer, who actually has a win over Alex Pereira, and also 2 losses. 4-0 as a pro, plus 140. He is the underdog up against Dylan Budka, 7-2 as a pro. He is 4-1 in his last 5 fights, only 24 years of age, whereas Almeida's 36. Again, Almeida, decorated kickboxing career. He does have a win on Contender Series, beating Lucas Fernando. What's up, main card minute? Good to see you. Lost his last glory fight to Donathan Weiss. Lost a decision there. Fought in Judo Brazil for MMA, but I mean, look at the opponent that he fought in MMA, and he fought another guy in Road to Future 1 who is making his debut. Again, very talented kickboxer. He has a win over Alex Pereira and some other notable opponents too, and he really impressed me at Glory Collision for Dylan Budka, though. I mean, he is an MMA fighter, right? He is an MMA fighter through and through. A high school wrestler as well. And a guy who does have some hands in this sport. Now, is it striking on the same level as Almeida? No, but in MMA, it's different. In MMA, it's different, especially when you can set up those takedowns, set up those strikes in the clinch up against the cage versus a clinch where in Glory you can't even really do much in the clinch. The Mindless Hulk, funny nickname as well. 24, that's the crazy part. He's so much younger. He is the favorite, and I understand why on a 2-fight win streak. 1 KO, 2 KO, 2 submissions, 4 decisions. Went 3-1 in the LFA, and also has a win on Contender Series. What's up, Hank? What's up, Funkmaster? He had a win over Chad Hanekom, who was, who I'm joking, was coked out for that one. No, who tested positive for the cocaine after that fight. You can check out my video on him, as well as we did a rundown on that whole situation a few months ago. Before then, the guy was only 2-4, though. Lost to Azamat Betkov, but close decision. Bekov's a pretty good grappler, but I would argue that Budka actually got the better of him in the grappling in that one. Yeah, I'm going with Budka for this one. Just better at MMA. He actually has 2 submissions on his resume. He's a decent wrestler. His grappling is obviously miles above that of Cesar Almeida. I mean, there's only so much you can learn in such a short time here, and he's only 4-0 as a pro. Very good kickboxer, though, like I said. But Budka, he's just more well-rounded. He is an MMA fighter. He has more MMA experience. He's got good cardio. He's tough, and he was an excellent high school wrestler as well. So going with the favorite on this one. What's up, Volcan? Good to see you as well, buddy. AWMD, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining. Hey, appreciate you, Volcan. Appreciate you. Volcan's giving his lock of the week in the chat there. What's up, Slappy? Good to see you as well. Younger fighter wins how much? 65% of the time. We have, speaking of younger fighters here, we got a 24-year-old Jean Matsumoto against Dan Argueta. Now, Dan Argueta hasn't had very good luck in his last couple UFC fights here, as he had that premature stoppage that was later changed to a no contest. And then Miles John, that one was overturned as well. John Matsumoto, 14-0 as a pro. He's coming in here undefeated, and he's the favorite at -205. Argueta, 9-1, 2 KO, TKOs, 4 submissions, 3 decisions. Never been knocked out, never been submitted. I mean, he has very good cardio. He fights at a high pace, but like his striking ain't crisp. His jiu-jitsu's nothing special. He's a good wrestler, and he's good at controlling his opponents. He's tough, though. He's tough. 5-0 in the LFA. But his last win, technically, was against Nick Aguiar, who was undefeated at that time, lost to Damon Jackson. After the Ultimate Fighter went back to LFA, where he got 3 wins. What's up, Robert? Good to see you as well, man. Good to see you as well. And guys, the schedule is up. The schedule is up, so if you want to ask what things I'm covering, just go check out the schedule on the community tab. And if you're in our Discord, I also posted it in the members Discord. Looking at his opponent, John Matsumoto. 14-0. Like I said, he is undefeated. 3 KO, TKO, 5 submissions, 6 decisions. And yeah, Robert, I hope you're good too, brother. I hope you're doing good. Hope everyone in the live chat's doing good here today on this beautiful Thursday. Beautiful in Minnesota, anyways. Nice and sunny. Snow is all melted. 2-0 in LFA. 1-0 off Contender Series. Very balanced, by the way, resume. Had to win against a 6-0 guy. 7-0, 9-1, 9-3, 13-6, and 10-3 in his last 7 fights. Love how he made that progression too. What's up, Archer? Good to see you. Going from, low-level promotions to eventually coming into LFA, fighting really good competition, and proving that he's ready for the big leagues. This one is up. This one's a lock, in my opinion, because even if Dan Argueta tries to lay on him the whole time, I think Matsumoto's jiu-jitsu is good enough. His grappling is good enough to at least get out of those positions, get back on the feet, or even threaten Argueta with something in the scramble. So I'm going John Matsumoto as well. What's up, Ethan? Good to see you, my man. I'm guessing everyone's seen that 5v fine line, bro. 2 seconds in the hockey game. Yeah, New Jersey Devils, New York Rangers, old-time hockey. Some LNAH shit. I love it because the NHL is a disgrace to hockey these days. It's great to see some old-school hockey. And that Matthew Rempe kid, even though he lost his fight in that one, keeping old-school hockey alive. And I mentioned him here on this channel in this stream because he does train Muay Thai in the offseason. So big shout-out to him. Degenerate Dane, I don't give a fuck about picking for the PFL. I will be streaming it, though. I will be streaming it. You're the expert on the PFL picks, my man. You're the expert on the PFL picks. Good to see you, Degenerate Dane. Hope all is well. All right, next fight here, we have Cynthia Calvillo against Piera Rodriguez. Yeah, main card, man. He trains Muay Thai and boxing in the offseason in Calgary, Alberta. Cynthia Calvillo, 9-6-1 in her last 5 fights. She's getting old too, 36 years of age. Remember when Cynthia Calvillo was a prospect coming into the UFC? Oh, how her career has derailed. Now, she has been losing some close decisions. I get it, but she ain't that good. And unfortunately, Piera Rodriguez isn't that good either. Like, the first women's fight on this card might be the most entertaining women's fight. Definitely going to be more entertaining than this one. 9-1 for La Fiera. She's out of Venezuela, 31 years of age. First loss was her last fight. Hey, Islanders fans, you can hate on New York. I mean, most of the league hates on New York. But yeah, that kid is keeping old school hockey alive. 5 KO, TKO, 0 submissions, 4 decisions. 2-1 in the UFC, 1-0 in LFA. And 1-0 on Contender Series. Yeah, if the women's aren't fighting in Pancrase Deep Horizon, it's a tough night. It's a tough night. She did lose to Jillian Robertson in her last fight, but I mean, the only way Jillian Robertson's going to win a fight is if she submits you, and she did get submitted by her in her first loss. Beat Sam Hughes, beat Kay Hansen. Valeska Machado, I mean, that was a pretty good win on Contender Series, but other than that, it's been kind of crickets. What's up, Bo Jackson? The Bo Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Cynthia Calvillo, 0-4 or 0-5 in her last 5 fights. But again, a few of those fights have been close decisions. 2 KO, TKO, 3 submissions, 4 decisions, 6-6-1 in the UFC, 1-0 in LFA. Peter Godinez beat her, close fight. Nina Nunes beat her, close fight. Andrea Lee, cannot believe that she beat her, but she beat her. Corner stoppage after the second round. Just gonna draw. Knocked her out in the first round. Chukagian. She did win against Jessica I, but yeah. She's the underdog because she's been losing so much, and she betting wise, she's a good underdog to take. But I don't know. I don't think the MMA gods are going to be in favor of Cynthia Calvillo anymore. I'm a little superstitious on this one. Maybe I'm being stupid-stitious on this one, but I'm going with Rodriguez. This might be a stupid stition mistake, guys. Literally having my notes here. What the fuck are we even doing? Rodriguez is a better striker, I guess. She needs to keep this on the feet, though, because Cynthia Calvillo is bigger than her. I imagine she's going to be stronger than her, and she'll probably out-wrestle her, out-grapple her, if that's the game that she employs. So if Piera Rodriguez can keep this on the feet, I think she will get the better of her, as she does have, 5 KO TKOs in her career. Out of her 9 wins, 5 of them have been knockouts. That's something to keep a note of for women in the UFC. Now, if this is, again, Ryzen or Deep or Pancrase, that doesn't really matter because those women are knocking each other out left, right, and center. Shout out Atomweight. Shout out every women fighter outside of the UFC, making women's MMA great again in Japan. Anyways, next fight here. We have Pedro Falasso against Victor Hugo. Now, Pedro Falasso taking this fight on short notice. Victor Hugo, 24-4 as a pro. He is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. What's up, sis? Good to see you. And shout out to everyone in the live chat here. You guys are awesome. I'll get to your comments after this one. Sorry, I'm speed running through this. I actually have to be on a show. I'm on a hockey program in half an hour, and then we're going to be jumping to PFL right after that. So tight schedule here today as I just got off work. 8 KO TKOs, 9 submissions, 7 decisions. 1-0 Contender Series, 4-0 in NFC, 4-0 in AFC, and 1-2 in Rio Fight Championship. Supposed to fight Daniel Marcos, that got canceled. And then, yeah, we're supposed to fight Altang. That one was canceled recently as well. I couldn't even find odds on this. This one was just rebooked. Great win streak. A mix of good fights and cans. But what I will say is he's at least been finishing his opponents as of late. 4 of his last... 6 out of his last 6 6 out of his last 6 wins have been via finishes, more than I even thought. Which again, against good opponents and against bad opponents, at least he's finishing those. At least he's absolutely crushing and disposing of those cans. No recycling, straight disposing, straight disintegration. His opponent, though, coming in on short notice, 16-3 as a pro. He's 31 years of age, also Brazilian, also 31 years old, and also on a 5-fight win streak. Call me J-Rock, you know what I'm saying. He's at Nova Uno, 6 KO TKOs, 5 submissions, 5 decisions. Never been submitted, been knocked out once, and his other 2 losses have come via decisions. 8-1 in Shuto Brazil, which is actually pretty good. Shuto Brazil is a good Brazilian regional. And he won his fight off Contender Series. Went actually to Tough Enough against a 13-8 guy and got a easy win. Watch that fight. He absolutely dismantled Morales in that one. Some okay wins on his resume as well. Funny enough, though, Victor Hugo, despite his record being a little padded, he still fought better competition, and his record is better than Falasso. I mean, this one should be fairly easy, given that Falasso is coming in on short notice. I don't think he was in a training camp or anything like that, but now without USADA, he could be coming into this training camp could be coming into this fight just juiced to the gills. Shout out to the UFC. Love that you're going the KSW route. But regardless, I do like Victor Hugo. Better grappler, better striker, more well-rounded, more experience. And I said, funny enough, this will have mine. Funny enough, less of a padded record than his opponent. So that's who I'm picking for this one. Okay, let's quickly say what's up to the chat here. I was on short notice last night and still made it to the full 2 minutes and 45 seconds, if you know what I'm saying. What's up, Meridian Heights? Good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a little while. The Action Man headlining the show. How dope is that? Let's go. Or it's more like... news in, Ronda Rousey's the best fighter in the world has ever seen. Oh my god, dude, that interview, thank god I only had to watch a clip of it because I would have ripped my remaining hair out. But didn't Calveo know she loses 6 in a row, right? I'm saying that the MMA gods have cursed her. Not gonna lie, I usually avoid betting on all women's fighters unless it's like Holly Holm. Fair enough. That's rule 101. That's rule 101. But Jackson Cavill decision. I have a lot of women's fight tonight. Those badass hockey players are great, just beating the crap out of people. Man, LNAH, it's a league in Quebec that is a fight league first, a hockey league second. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I love it. And shout out to the Isles. I hope you're taking care of my boy Bo Horvat. I think I said what's up to everybody else here. I think they're starting in 30 minutes. No? Man, I don't give a fuck about PFL. I stream it because it's MMA and I'm a junkie and like I gotta stick it in my veins. I cannot not watch MMA when it's on, but I think that league is an absolute disgrace to the sport, and I hate watch it for the most part. I don't hate like the fighters. Go make your money. Happy that they're paying at least the top of the league, because we know that they ain't paying the bottom of the league. Shout out to Ronan MMA. He made a really good video on that recently. So yeah, like I'm a junkie. I'll watch whatever I can when it's on, and I'll stream whatever I can when it's on. But I do truly think that league is an absolute disgrace to the sport, and I hate the season format. So I kind of go into it blind. Sometimes I make picks and predictions if I have extra time to do content throughout the week. But yeah, I'm just gonna call it how I see it. You don't allow elbows, and you're under North American Commission's rule, which is fake MMA. Fuck that shit. Damon Jackson, Morgan Charriere, Walter Walker, Trevor Peak, Germaine Randamie, Chris Curtis, just saying, know what I'm saying. Bo's living his best life on the island. I love it. Always loved him in Vancouver. What are you talking about, Isha? Hawaii! I know my nose is almost as big as his. It's fucked. It's because I've broken it 4 times. My first ever schoolyard fight in elementary school in Canada are like, we do sometimes our PE class. We'll go to an ice rink and just skate or play hockey. And I got in a little fisticuff on the ice and I slipped and Buddy grabbed my head and smashed it on the ice. I think I was in the 6th grade and my nose was mangled, ladies and gentlemen. It's like there's like a few dents in it probably from that, never grew properly. And then I broke it a couple times because I did point fighting when I was younger. But yeah, that was the worst, man. Someone grabbing your head, even when you're small and smashing it against the ice, like fuck, man. That was the most. I've broken a lot of bones from fighting, mountain biking, and just dumb shit. But that was the most painful injury ever. I broke my collarbone, man. Someone smashing your nose onto the ice and literally smashing it was the most painful thing. And my mom at the time was so angry that I was fighting in school. She made me go back to school because this was in like the first period with like this huge headgear thing on, which was even more humiliating. And that was punishment. So that was a rough day. Hey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. That's extra Canadian gym class skating beyond MN level. I only speak English, my man. I only speak English. All right. Next fight here. We got Norma Dumont against Germaine Randamie. All the homies are excited for this fight. Germaine Randamie, the Iron Lady, 4 years off, finally coming back. And you know, when she made her initial UFC run, former champion, she was actually really good. Very well-rounded. A fun striker who actually was able to develop her grappling, her wrestling, and the other aspects of MMA very well. But she's 39 years of age now, past her prime, and I haven't really seen too much of her taking training as serious in her time off than obviously when she was active, obviously when she was in the UFC. I'm just going to say she's back in the UFC now. She didn't leave anywhere, but she literally left the sport for freaking 4 years. And I was even trying to do some research to see if she like competed in any grappling competitions or anything like that, anything of note. And I couldn't really find anything. Now, obviously she's probably training. She's still a professional athlete, but just not active and coming up against someone who, sure, in Germaine's prime, she probably smokes Norma Dumont. But Norma Dumont on a 3-fight win streak right now, 4-1 in her last 5, has only ever lost twice, and is just active and in her athletic prime right now. That being said, close underdog here. Still training out of San Jose. Won her last fight before she took time off. I'm not sure if she's still at AKA or not. Regardless, 4 KO, TKO, 1 submission, 5 decisions, 7-2 in the UFC, 2-1 in Strikeforce. Beat Juliana Pena, subbed her in her last fight. Lost to the former champ Amanda Nunes. I guess still the champ. She didn't lose it upon retiring. Beat Aspen Ladd, the now champion Raquel Pennington, Holly Holm. Like, she's got some really, really good wins on her resume. Larissa Pacheco's been ripping it up in PFL. I mean, her only 2 losses in the UFC are to freaking Amanda Nunes. So, again, when she was in her prime, when she was dominating, when she was active, she was one of the better women fighters in the UFC. Former champ Germaine Randamie. Going up against Norma Dumont, who made Chelsea Chandler run track in the cage. She's the minus 200 favorite, like I said, on a 3-fight win streak. Lineal champ. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Has never knocked anyone out. 2 submissions, 8 decisions. Has never been submitted. She just doesn't have very good hands. Let's be honest. She is a pretty good grappler and utilizes her wrestling well. But a decision queen. 6-2 in the UFC. And again, made Chelsea Chandler run around like a crazy person. Beat Carl Rosa, who's fine, I guess. And then the UFC gave her a girl who's 1-0. Like, what the fuck was that? Did have a close split decision against Macy Chiasson. This one I want to highlight. Macy Chiasson is actually not bad. She's boring, but she's not bad. Her clinch game is very good, and she's strong as hell. So that's actually not. I'm not going to encourage you guys to go back and watch it unless you just want to go and watch Norma Dumont in general, which I don't blame you for that. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend, like I say at times, go back and watch that one to see. Chiasson's fun. She's pretty good, actually. And so that one could have gone either way. I'm going with Norma Dumont. Quite frankly, she's in her prime right now. Obviously has been more active. And if she takes us to the ground, she's just going to out-muscle. She's just going to out-grapple, out-wrestle de Randamie. Again, I come back after 4 years without being really active, even in like grappling competitions or anything like that. Norma Dumont does have some pretty good wins. Like I said, close loss to Chiasson. Younger, active, stronger, I imagine. And when you take 4 years off and you come back against a younger fighter, I know it's women's MMA in the UFC, but that just is not a recipe for success. If this stays on the feet, though, if somehow de Randamie can keep this on the feet for the duration of the fight, she will piece up Dumont with her hands, but I think Dumont gets this one done. All right, next we have Court McGee against Alex Morono. Court McGee, 21-12 as a pro. He is 2-3 in his last 5 fights, and until getting knocked out by Jeremiah Wells, I believe he'd never been knocked out before. We'll double check that, but he was really durable before that, and that kind of opened up the floodgates as Matt Brown brutally knocked him out in his last fight, which was a good match because Matt Brown's getting up there in age as well. Both of them Ultimate Fighter alumni. Court McGee winning his season was at the Tito Ortiz, which became God, who replaced him on that one? I forget now. Was it Richie Franklin who replaced him last minute? Regardless, it was the Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell. Might have been Rich Franklin who replaced him last minute, because I think that's when Chuck Liddell fought Franklin in Vancouver. When the UFC came to Vancouver for the first time. But anyways, earlier tough season. I think it was like 14 or 15. But shout out to Court McGee. Alex Morono, he was a good guy to root for on that season, so I've kind of always rooted for him not the most exciting fighter though. And Alex Morono, 23-9, very technical striker. Doesn't have a lot of power in his mitts. Maybe if he took his strength and conditioning a little bit more seriously, rather than nerd out on like game plans and strategy, he might have a little more power in his mitts. But regardless, he's a fun fighter to watch. He's very technical, very smart, and in my opinion, one of the better guys outside of the top 15 in welterweight. He is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He lost his last fight to Joaquin Buckley via unanimous decision. So unfortunately, Alex Morono, better than Vicente Luque now? They may have to fight so we can settle this. I'm kidding. I never want to see Luque fight again. 6 KO, TKO, 7 submissions. Never been submitted. 9 decisions. 12-6-1 in the UFC. 7-2 in Legacy Fighting Championship, and 2-1 in Fury Fighting Championship, which, by the way, shout out to him. He's always on the mic, always doing broadcasting for Fury FC. Beat Tim Means before his loss to Joaquin Buckley. And honestly, like, say what you want about Tim Means. Tim Means is actually, he hasn't looked that bad, despite him being up there in age as well. So after Tim Means' last win, I feel like this one has aged a little bit better. Lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio, but he came in on short notice for that one and actually rocked Ponzinibbio a few times. Before then was on a 4-fight win streak, being Semi the Jedi, Mickey Gulch, whatever, David Zawada, Donald Cerrone. So yeah, it was a good win. It was a win streak in the UFC, but it wasn't necessarily the best win streak there. Lost to Anthony Pettis for Pettis pieced the fuck out to the PFL. He has a win over Reese McKee. Reese McKee, despite him being a tower over that of Morono, we just found out isn't that good. Court McGee, the Crusher. Yeah, not getting knocked out by Buckley's big as well. He's got a pretty good chin. 21-12, like I said. Really cool story behind him, as he used to be, I believe, a heroin addict before he took on MMA, and MMA actually helped save his life. 3 KO TKO, 7 anyways, he had addiction issues. I forget if it was just drugs or if it was just the whole shebang, alcohol as well, but he's been clean for many, many years now. And again, easy guy to root for on his season of The Ultimate Fighter. 7 submissions, 11 decisions. Yeah, Luca's performance was hard to watch, buddy. 10 and 11 in his UFC career, 4-1 in Ultimate Combat Experience before he got his chance on The Ultimate Fighter. Okay, yeah, so he had never been knocked out. He'd never been knocked out before that left hook from Jeremiah Wells, and his chin starting to go now as Matt Brown, who is a savage still at this age. I mean, power's the last thing to go, right? Landed a right hook clean, and that one was hard to watch. As I was rooting for both those old farts in that one, but I didn't want to see one go out the way that Court McGee went. Before then, beat Claudio Silva, whatever, and Ramiz Brahimaj. So I mean, not the best 2 wins there. Lost to Carlos Conas, Sean Brady, Diego Lima before that between 2019 and 2020, which even an older Carlos Condit, scary guy, even an older Diego Lima, scary guy, and Sean Brady coming up, beat him in a decision there. Going with Alex Morono on this one. Weird matchup, I think, from the UFC. I would have preferred to see Court McGee going up against another older guy. I guess Morono's not super dangerous in the fact that like he's not going to knock him out. So maybe that's one of the reasons why the matchmakers made this one. But Morono is just the better fighter at this stage of his career. Yeah, Court's getting old, almost 40 years old. Morono, fun striker, good jiu-jitsu. A nerd when it comes to the game, so he's probably going to have a sound game plan for this one. I don't think Court McGee gets finished, and if he does get finished in this one, I mean, just hang him up then and there. I do think Alex Morono will put on a striking clinic. He's got good footwork. He's going to outmuscle the 39-year-old? Probably not, but if he does want to take this to the ground, he does have slick takedowns, and he's got slick scrambles if Court McGee does decide that he wants to wrestle in this one. Like I said, I've always rooted for Court since his days on The Ultimate Fighter, but, I mean, I ain't rolling the dice on this one. Alex Morono should get it done. All right, moving on to the next one here. Trevor Peek against Charlie Campbell. Man, this one's going to be a fun one. This one is the people's main event. This one is for the non-casuals, ladies and gentlemen, because the non-casuals know how good Charlie Campbell is technically. And we all know how much fun Trevor Peek is to watch. This is a brawler versus a technical striker through and through, which should make for absolute fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. 9-1 as a pro is Trevor Peek. Charlie Campbell, 8-2. 4-1 in his last 5 fights for Peek. 4-1 in his last 5 fights for Charlie. Charlie's 28. Peek's 29. I mean, God, this is such a good matchup, ladies and gentlemen. I'm smitten for this one. I'm so excited. So excited. He's a Sarah Longo guy. 6 KO TKOs, 0 submissions, 2 decisions. 2-0 in Bellator, 1-0 in UFC. He lost his fight on Contender Series, but got the call to fight Alex Reyes. Outboxed him and knocked him out early. Has been working on his grappling, as we last saw him in Fury Pro Grappling, where he won a split decision. Or second, he's actually had two runs at Fury Pro Grappling. And he did lose on Contender Series to Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan landed that huge overhand right. We covered that fight, actually, when we started doing streams on this channel. That was the first season of Contender Series that we covered live anyways. And he actually was looking good against him early until he was drawn into the brawl and got knocked out. So there is a risk that if Trevor Peek early kind of draws him into that brawl, that Charlie Campbell might get caught. But that's just it. Trevor Peek is a 1-round warrior, ladies and gentlemen, as that's where he does his best work. As you can see here, 8 KO TKOs, 1 decision in his 9 wins. He's 2-1 in the UFC, 1-0 off Contender Series. Took out Muhammad Yahya, unanimous decision, which was, I don't want to say his biggest test, but as far as cardio, it was his biggest test. This one was just a crazy sloppy ass slugfest where Chepe came in on short notice. And after the first round, you could see that Peak was tired. After the halfway through the second round, you saw that the short notice Chepe was tired. And this was actually a fun fight despite it being sloppy as hell. And before then, look at this, man. He took them all out. He took them all out only twice in the second round, but he all took them all out early. The hammer fist, Trevor Peak, who fucking throws hammer fists when he's not even on the ground. I'm going Charlie Campbell for this one. Love Trevor Peak, but I do think Charlie Campbell, if he doesn't get dragged into the fire in the first round, if he withstands the first round, he's going to absolutely piece up Trevor Peak once Trevor Peak starts to slow down a little bit. He's a way better boxer. He's a way better distance striker. And he's been working on his grappling now as well. Proof's in the pudding. We've seen it at Fury. And despite him not having any submissions, I do think, yeah, once Trevor Peak fades a bit, that's when Charlie Campbell's going to run away with this one. I imagine it goes the distance, but it all depends. It all kind of depends on how much Peak's power bar goes down in the second round. If he's completely gassed by the start of the third or the end of the second, there's a chance that Charlie Campbell gets the TKO. But if not, I just think he pieces him up for the second and third. So I'm going with Charlie Campbell. I'm actually surprised that he was the favorite given how popular Peak is. He's way more technical, way more well-rounded, has way better cardio. Again, his technical striking and boxing is so good. And Peak's is not. But that's what we love about Trevor Peak. Peak could get this done in the first round, as we've seen Charlie lose in the first round before to more of a brawling style. But I don't think that happens. I think Charlie Campbell gets this one. I was hoping actually to bet on this one if he was the underdog, but I stayed off of it because he ain't. All right. Next up the card, we have Johnny Walker's freaking Giga Chad brother here. Walter Walker against Łukasz Brzeski. Oh my God, dude. This guy's got a death wish. This guy's got a death wish. Walter Walker, undefeated, 11-0. He's a pretty big favorite at minus 350. The bull, Łukasz Brzeski, 8-4-1 as a pro. And he's only 1-3-1 no contest. He's not chinny. That's funny you just mentioned. He's actually not chinny. He's taken some big shots as a heavyweight, shook them off, charged forward, and absolutely destroyed his opponents. I encourage you to go watch some of his fights, as he's such a fun fighter to watch. Don't watch any of this guy's fights. He's absolute trash. Don't even know why he's in the UFC. But I'm excited to see the UFC debut of Johnny Walker heavyweight edition, which Johnny Walker probably could be a heavyweight, but 6 KO, 2 KOs, 1 submissions, 4 decisions. Fought an MMA series, which isn't actually a bad promotion. It's one of the lesser Russian promotions, but it is on the rise now. Shoot, it might even jump M1. That's just completely on the decline now. The ACB and ACA have taken over. He had his last fight in Titan FC. Man, this guy's just a wrecking ball. There's not even much to break down on this one. Walter Walker is going to absolutely destroy this guy. This is not a fight. This is going to be a murder. I even have it in my notes. Walter Walker by murder. He's good everywhere. His wrestling's good. His jiu-jitsu's good. His striking's good. He has a good chin. Solid resume. 4-fight finish streak right now as well. And he's fast and actually looks light on his feet for a big boy. So yeah, this one should be easy money. Easy money, Walter Walker. All right. Fuck, this is a big card. We got a few more to get into. Okay, let me quickly go through some of these comments. I'm totally going to be late for this show. Thank God it's not live. If you're watching Seth, my boy Seth, I'm going to be on his show at Locked On Wild. I'm sorry. Valter going to rip out that dude's heart. Oh, yeah. He's everything Johnny isn't. Dude also has heavy-ass hands, cannibal life. Valter looks like he eats people. What's up, Irish? Good to see you. This is a skilled baller fight. Sarah Longo, the Knuckle Dragon Jim that avoids knees. Charlie Campbell is about to be introduced to Alabama, motherfucker. Peak wins. Shout out to Sarah Longo. Yeah, that's right. In your backyard, main card a minute. By the way, main card a minute is going to be covering, I imagine you're going to be covering this and doing a fight companion for it as well. Go check out Main Card Minutes channel. Absolute beauty of a host. Absolute beauty of a channel. Way better picks and predictions than me, ladies and gentlemen. I just do these for fun. He's actually a professional. He's actually a real MMA predictor. Better picks, the whole 9 yards. Way better channel than mine. Go subscribe to Main Card Minute. Unsubscribe to mine. Go subscribe to Main Card Minute. Peak. It was not a typical performance for what a case. German guy picks court, I guess. Hey, what's up? What a case. Now, brother was getting his bag, and that's it. Oh, Luke. Yeah, Luke getting his bag. It's good to see you. What a case. But who else? Did I miss anybody here in the live chat? Yeah, it's good to see you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Been subbing solid content. Yes, let's go. Let's go. Like, I don't know what you guys are doing on this channel. I don't know what you guys are doing. Listen to my picks here when you could be on Main Card Minutes, listening to some real MMA breakdown. Cheers, buddy. Cheers. I'll be cracking. I'll be cracking a cold one later tonight. This is my last coffee because I got to be sharp for this guest appearance on this hockey show, and then we'll be back to cover PFL. And again, Irish Snack Box, good to see you, man. Good to see you, one of our exclusive members. Hey, what's up, Leeli? What's up, everybody? Just got home and saw this is on. Yeah, we will be streaming PFL tonight as well. Hope you're having a good week, Leeli. All right, next fight here. Ignacio Bahamondes against Christos Giagos. Giagos is out of California. He's 20-11 as a pro, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, and he did lose his last one to another prospect, Daniel Zellhuber. On the other side here, out of Chile, but training out of Chicago, 14-5, Ignacio Bahamondes. He is 3-2 in his last 5, but he did lose his last fight, a decision to Ludovic Klein. Now, I did pick him to win in his last fight, and shout out to Ludovic Klein, man. The first round was back and forth, but Ludovic Klein started to run away with it in the second and third and just beat up this kid. But again, still 26 years of age. I don't know if he's a prospect anymore, but he still looks good. He still looks good, and I encourage you guys to continue to follow him. Christos, the Spartan, 8 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 8 decisions, 6-7 in the UFC, 2-1 in ACB, and again, Anaconda choke loss to the Daniel Zellhuber prospect in the UFC. Beat Ricky Glenn before then. Oh, yeah, he was on Fury Pro Grappling 6. Lost to Thiago Moises, Armin Sarukian. You know, not bad losses. But his other wins in the UFC are just Sean Soriano, Carlton Minus, who, yeah, since that loss has gone 14 or is now 5 losses versus the 2 that were there. Charles Oliveira beat him when he was on his rise again. I mean, in hindsight, that's not a bad loss. Yeah, just not a Josh Emmett beat him. Chris Wade, just not a. He has lost to a lot of good guys in the UFC. I'll give him that, but like his wins aren't impressive. Like he's lost to really good guys, so I can't hate on him too much. But his wins haven't been super impressive. I mean, with a record like that, just a MMA veteran through and through, going up against a young guy who's still an up-and-comer, who I think a lot of people have jumped off the hype train of Bustamante. Or Bahamondes. Jeez, Bustamante. Bahamondes. But I think he's still very, very talented. 9 KO TKOs, 1 submissions, 4 decisions, 3-2 in the UFC, 1-0 off LFA, and he did win his fight in Contender Series. Again, big shout out to Ludovic Klein in that one, man. Second and third round just absolutely ran away with it. Before then, he was on a 3-fight win streak against Trey Ogden, against Rongzhu, who Rongzhu's good, man. We just saw Rongzhu again get a really good win in road to UFC. And shoot, man, that how can we not forget that beautiful wheel kick to Roosevelt Roberts? Lost to John McDessie, not the best performance there, but a close. I mean, shout out to John McDessie, Canadian. But close decision. Could have gone either way. Charles. Hey, we love Rempe here. We love Rempe. Yeah, I'm going Bahamondes on this one. More dynamic. I do think he's pretty well-rounded, though Christos probably has a little bit more skill in wrestling. Bahamondes is long, he's lanky, and he's good at scrambling out of those positions. He's already fought really good competition already, and though a lot of people are off the hype train, I still think he's way more talented and way more dangerous than that of Christos. All right, next up the card, we have Morgan Charriere against Chepe Mariscal. This is like a very technical fighter against just a dog, you know? Not to say that Chepe doesn't have any technique to his game. He obviously does, but Charriere way more technical, especially in his striking. What's up, Activate A and Charles Barkley? It's good to see you guys as well. Machine Gun Chepe, 15-6 as a pro, but he is on a 5-fight win streak, ladies and gentlemen. He's been very active in his last fights. 31 years of age. He's the underdog in this one. Training out of Elevation Fight Team. 7 KO, TKO, 3 submissions. Never been submitted, by the way. And 5 decisions. 2-2 in the LFA. 2-0 in the UFC. Upon entering the UFC, that's right, he did get that win against Trevor Peak in that one. We were just talking about that. On short notice, beat Jack Jenkins, but I will say about this one, Jack Jenkins was winning the fight, and then Jack Jenkins broke his arm or wrist, whatever it was there. So asterisk next to that one. I know if you injure your opponent, that's fighting. You should get credited with the win, and he is credited with the win. I just want to say that like Jack Jenkins, still a very good fighter and was winning that fight. But again, he injured him. Good win nonetheless. And on LFA, I mean, not the and Combate Global Cage Wars, not like he went up against the best competition, but he's a dog. He's fun to watch. He doesn't get put out that easy. And credit to him, has fought in some of the best regional shows in LFA, in Cage Fury FC, in Cage Warriors, and now UFC. Morgan Charriere, since he lost to Paul Hughes, has been on a run, man. Split decision though. KO there, and KO in his first UFC fight. So I understand why he's the favorite in this one. He is dangerous. 11 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, 5 decisions. He never been knocked out, only lost. He's only been finished once via submission. 1-0 in the UFC, 6-3 in Cage Warriors, 3-5 and 100% fight, and 1-1 in WWFC. Good win in his UFC debut. Guy was 11-3 in Cage Warriors. Upon losing to Jordan and Vucenic and Paul Hughes, which by the way, close fight to Jordan Vucenic. Hasn't really. I mean, yeah, Bazant is actually a really good fighter, and that one was a split decision there. So, congrats to him. But yeah, that one could have gone either way. His next 3 fights haven't been against notable guys. Look, 11-3. I'm not going to shit on him. Good record coming in there. Good matchup for his first UFC fight. But like Paul Hughes and Jordan Vucenic could be in the UFC. They're that good. What's up, HM? Good to see you. What's up, JL? Good to see you as well. Sorry, I'm speed running through this, guys. I am 5 minutes late to a podcast appearance that I'm supposed to be on right now. So I am going to speed run through the rest of this, but I will take a few minutes or a couple minutes at the end here to take your comments. Oh my goodness. I got cooked last week on predictions, going with mostly favorites. So I'm gonna roll the dice on this card a little bit, and we're going with Chepe. We're going with the dog, both figuratively and literally the way he fights. Good cardio, very tough. Not as many good wins as Charriere, but he's just a dog, man. You could squeeze out this decision or surprise him. Charriere does have power in his kicks and his punches, though. Like I said, he is dangerous, but I don't think he knocks out Chepe. If he does win, he's probably just going to beat him up and hurt him, but Chepe will survive. All right, co-main event of the evening. We have Alexander Hernandez against Damon. Now the Leech. I thought it was Action Jackson. Has he changed his nickname? Damon Jackson lost his last, or he's on a 2-fight losing streak, but he is 3-2 in his last 5 up against Alexander Hernandez, who is 2-3 in his last 5. He did lose his last fight to Bill Algeo. He's the favorite at -200. Damon Jackson plus 165. Honestly, if you guys are betting on this one, not a bad underdog, because though the contrast in body types is evident and Hernandez has more power in his punches, Damon Jackson is weirdly good. You know what I mean? He's weirdly good and he's weirdly strong, as wrestling was his base. He just kind of looks like a bag of milk in comparison to some of these guys in his division, like Alexander Hernandez, who's historically just been fucking yoked. He is 35 years of age and he's on a 2-fight losing streak, though. They both have lost to Billy Q, which, oh my God. And then he lost to Dan Ige, who Dan Ige hasn't knocked a lot of guys out. I mean, recently he's found it, and one of his prey has been Damon Jackson. Honestly, though, I mean, is based Damon Jackson with hair a mythical creature? We will find out. He's still out of Fortis MMA, 4 KO, TKO, 15 submissions. Okay, he's a damn good wrestler. And only 3 decisions, which is what I like to see. He's 5-4, 1-1 in the UFC. Damn, he's all over the board there. 7-1 in LFA, 2-0 in Bellator, and 0-1 in PFL. He's really fought everywhere. And I'm pretty sure he was on the Ultimate Fighter back in the day too. Maybe not. Beat Pat Sabatini, beat Dan Argueta, beat Kamala Kirk. So yeah, I mean his record, his resume is not the best in the UFC, but he's not an easy out. And Alexander Hernandez, 14-7. He's a St. Antonio still. Factory X, which, I mean, one of the few Factory X guys who doesn't just spam leg kicks. But he's not the disgrace of Factory X like Cody Brundage is. He's kind of somewhere in the middle. 6 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 6 decisions, 6-6 in the UFC, 1-0 in LFA. I really liked Bill Algio's performance in that one. Alexander Hernandez just couldn't figure out his movement. It was a close fight against Jim Miller. I honestly thought Jim Miller won that one, but I'm going to say this right now. I could be biased because I was rooting for Jim Miller in that one. Lost Billy Quarantillo. Freaking standing TKO, which is absolutely insane. Moicano beat him. Moicano's good. Mike Breeden, he knocked him out. Whatever. Thiago Moises beat him. Moises is still pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like since his win over Dariushin OAM, he's just kind of been on the downward trajectory, beats guys who aren't that great. Jim Miller actually looked really good against him. So again, I picked a ton of the favorites to win on the last card and got absolutely burned. So I'm going with Damon Jackson on this one. Again, I am putting all my chips in the basket that based Damon Jackson, and Damon Jackson with hair is a new mythical creature, and that he's absolutely going to go on a run now. Maybe not go on a run, but he fights at a good pace. Though he's a little chinny, he's just an interesting style. He's lanky, bag of milk type body, yet is a strong wrestler and a tricky submission guy. Don't like the recent record of Alexander Hernandez. Again, Miller looked good against him, and Miller still is good, which is crazy to say at his age, but Miller is still good. So it's less of a knock on Miller and more of a knock on Hernandez that you got to rise to the occasion and beat some of these old guys who are still, competitive, to get my pick. Also, I will forever be salty that he beat my boy Dariush. All right, main event of the evening. Then we'll quickly go over your guys' comments here. We'll probably be live for another 5 minutes. Then I have to jump because, again, I'm going to be on a friend of mine's show, Locked On Wild. If you guys are hockey fans, go check it out. And then I'll be back for PFL in 45 minutes, an hour-ish. All in Brendan Allen against Chris Curtis, the action man. This is the rematch, ladies and gentlemen. Up-and-coming guy against guy on a downward trajectory despite getting a win over Marc-Andre Barriault. Chris Curtis, 31-10. Man, guy's got 41 fights, which is... You gotta tip your cap, slow clap to that. Pretty cool to see. But Brendan Allen, he's getting up there as well. And he's only 28 years of age and 23-5. He's got a ton of fights too, man. So I'm excited to see the rematch for this one. Finally, a pretty good main event as far as these last couple fight nights have gone. 36 years of age. Got a win against Brendan Allen already. 15 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, 13 decisions. And until Imavov, guys had a hard time taking him down. But I think Father Time is starting to catch up with him because he looked so good coming into the UFC. Late, UFC career. But it seems like every fight he's kind of regressing a little bit. The fact that Imavov took him down with ease. Maybe Imavov is just that good. The fact that Imavov took him down with ease, I was like, uh-oh. 5-2-1 in the UFC, 1-3 in the PFL, 1-0 off Contender Series, but he's fought everywhere, man. I mean, he was even like ranked super high in Canada at one point because he was fighting in, I think it was like TKO. I never fought in TKO, but anyways, there were some shows that he did in Canada. And he was like rated super high in Canada at one point, which was hilarious as well. Beat Marc-André Barriault. I actually thought Barriault was going to win that one, just outpace him. Again, the Imavov fight, no contest because of the accidental head clash, but Imavov was beating him up in that one. Kevin Gastelum, funny enough, did not have that one on my bingo cards, but Kevin Gastelum still has a little, keyword little, gas left in the tank, I think. Great knockout against Joaquin Buckley. The Jack Hermanson one, I mean, didn't really like that, but Jack Hermanson still looks good as we saw him just beat the fuck out of Joe Pyfer. Be like Joe Pyfer. Not in that situation. And before then, Rodolfo Vieira, who's 8-1, credit to him, but I mean, hasn't really been too exciting since. And then Brendan Allen, which I want to say, he beat Brendan Allen on short notice. He'd fought just a few weeks before that, right? He'd fought Phil Hawes just a few weeks before that. Brendan Allen did look good early. He looked good in the first round, but got a little too hungry for the takedown, got a little too hungry to engage. And Chris Curtis caught him. Chris Curtis still has power, though the speed, not that he was ever the fastest guy. His speed is starting to slow down. His rips to the body, though, still will slow any of his opponents down, as we saw him do that with Marc-André Barriault. But that's just the thing. Chris Curtis was saying that he wanted to take more time between fights. He just had a freaking war against Marc-André Barriault, and he's back just, a month and a half later, 2 months later, going up against the surging Brendan Allen, who's on a hell of a win streak right now, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Starting to look good everywhere. 23 wins, 5 losses. He's out of kill cliff, 5 KO TKOs, 14 submissions, 4 decisions. He's a very good wrestler. He's a very good grappler. But his hands are starting to come together as well. Now, do I think he's going to stand and bang with Chris Curtis? No, I do think he's going to try to get this to the ground quickly, but I do think he can hold his own now versus, 4 years ago. 11-2 in the UFC, 5-2 in LFA, 1-0 off Contender Series. He beat Paul Craig, Bruno Silva, Andre Muniz, Christoph Jotko, Jacob Malkoun, and Sam Alvey in his last fights there. Now, Jacob Malkoun, I honestly think is the best win out of all. Andre Muniz and Jacob Malkoun are the best wins out of all of those. Now, in hindsight, Jacob Malkoun, that one is starting to marinate better because he's just looking really, really good. And that was Jacob Malkoun's only loss. Andre Muniz is getting old, but is still a good competitor. Jocko is at the end of his career. Sam Alvey is Sam Alvey. He is a karate combat legend now. Paul Craig. And Bruno Silva, he's not that good either, right? So, I don't know. This is a hard one because it's like, yeah, he's on an impressive win streak, but like the fighters that he's taken out easily, I will say, they don't jump out of the page as like, okay, he's taking out killers in the division, right? He's taking out killers in the division. And if he does dominate Chris Curtis, I mean, we might even throw him into that conversation as well. But I do like how he has the potential to get that loss back in this one. I will get back to the comments here in a sec, guys. I just want to give my final verdict for this one. I have, like I said, I'm either going to get burned on this card or look like a motherfucking genius because we're going with the underdog again here. Chris Curtis gets it done again. He has a win over him, short notice. He knows the game plan. He knows what he's good at. However, Brendan Allen, he is getting better and better. Allen's wins look good, but his opponents have not been the best. And in my opinion, not even the same level as the guys that Chris Curtis has been fighting recently. Obviously, historically hard to take down. Allen is bigger than him. But Chris Curtis has gone up against guys of a similar style. I would say that Marc-Andre Barriault, though he doesn't have the submission ability as out of a Brendan Allen, similar type of fighter. And Chris Curtis was able to keep him off of him and rip him to the body, which slowed him down quicker. I mean, one could say that he's the wish version of Brendan Allen. I know Brendan Allen's more dangerous. I know he's younger, but Chris Curtis has literally been there, done that. He's fought guys of similar style of Brendan Allen. He's literally fought Brendan Allen before and beat him. The quick turnaround is what scares me, but hopefully he's still fresh and hopefully he's not too banged up because I did bet this underdog. Let's freaking go. Okay, quickly before we get to the comments and then hang up this case. God, I might never be invited back on this show as we are now 20 minutes late. Oh my goodness. I was supposed to be on a hockey show. I was supposed to be a guest on a hockey show at 5:30, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's on me. That's not on you. I'm just verbalizing verbalizing my disappointment with myself. All right. As always, safe and degenerate parlay of the week brought to you by our friend Volcan, who made an appearance in the live chat here. Safe parlay, we're going Dylan Budka, Dan Argueta, and Alex Morono. Degenerate parlay, we're going Chris Curtis, Łukasz Brzeski, and Pedro Falacio. I mean, none of these, other than Chris Curtis, are going to hit, but this one's a fun one nonetheless. And I mean, if Brzeski somehow wins, if Falacio somehow wins, oh my God, I'm going to be losing my shit watching this fight, praying that Chris Curtis is going to win because that will actually make us some money. Right, put up the comments here and then, oh my fuck, Dylan, what the fuck, dude? Dylan's been dropping freaking gifted memberships, dude. Thank you, buddy. Good to see some more members in the live chat here as Wednesday's membership stream is going to be absolutely lit next week. It's going to be so much fun as we're bringing on members to hang out and talk with Kyle and I. And Kyle's younger brother is going to be joining us for that one throughout that stream. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry I missed those. I'm guessing one of Hockey From Home's accounts got one. I'm guessing Hockey From Home got all three. Wow. Thank you. All right, let's see some of the comments that I missed. Sorry, Jail, I can't engage in like the conversations right now. I will during PFL though, because we're gonna have some buffer time. All my homies ride with Chepe. But Curtis does beat Allen. Yeah, Chepe's gonna lose. Chepe has a better resume and a better gym. I don't know about the resume, but gym, you can make that argument. Fraction Jackson. He needs some milk. Hey, what's up, Monster MMA fan? Good to see you. I like Morgan. This one, you'll piece him up. Protracting Jackson. That's awesome. Good to see you, Charles. Man, Billy Q beat up 3 dudes on this card, but looked horrible last week. I wonder what that is all about. Man, MMA math just doesn't make sense. Jackson, 2 or 3 rounds. Auto play against Hernandez. He got that give up spirit in him. Chris Curtis knocks him out. Curtis not the same anymore. Bugging. In time, goddammit, and don't worry, I am streaming PFL. I'm going to be starting a little bit late as PFL has already started. So I'll probably start PFL in like 45 minutes, an hour, if I'm still invited on this hockey show. Absolutely bullied Pfeiffer. Yeah, Hermanson. That was crazy, man. Again, Dylan, thank you so much for the donos. Why can't I send a message that says Curtis equals poo? Keeps getting deleted. YouTube doesn't like the poop, man. Hey, Activate A got the membership. Oh, Dill, you don't have to do that. But I appreciate it as always, buddy. What's up, All Play? You watching PFLs? You do picks? No, I'm doing picks as I do picks. I only got 2 eyes, brother. Hockey From Home hijacking the memberships. Who let Dylan cook today? Yo, Isha, this is weird as fuck. No one got it. Maybe it was someone who's in the live chat earlier and just hasn't claimed it yet. John Cena, the new member. It's only the preview fights at the moment anyways. 2 previews on YouTube before the actual season. So yeah, that's what I figured. It was going to be like an hour. If PFL says they're starting at anytime. Assume an hour later, the actual show is going to start. Meridian Heights, thank you so much for joining, buddy. Again, guys, thank you so much for hanging out throughout these predictions. Really appreciate you guys. We will be way more interactive on the PFL stream. And again, I'm going to jump on my buddy's hockey show here. It's not a long show. It's usually 25 minutes to half an hour. So we should make our time of 7:30 Eastern to jump on the PFL stream. Hockey, in the United States, it's on ESPN. I don't know where it is in Canada. You'll have to check if it's on TSN or Sportsnet. Dylan, man, thank you so much for gifting the members. Cannot wait for next Wednesday's membership stream to literally have you guys jump on and hang out with us live. Leli, hope to see you later tonight and hope you have a great day tomorrow. I'll be streaming One Championship bright and early. I begrudgingly bought their motherfucking pay-per-view again. God damn it, One Championship. Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to me? So Leli, you can listen to me while you are at work. Okay, I gotta run, guys, but I will be back in an hour max, okay, for PFL. Hope to see you all there. Like and subscribe. Let me know your predictions in the comments. And again, a big thank you to everybody who hung out throughout this one. Yes, some showroom fights, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank you for all the support, man. I will be back here in, like I said, half an hour to an hour. See you later, Hawk from home. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you all. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Yeah.